Hey, what's up gamers? My name's Jax Foxfire and welcome back to the channel. Now I just wanted to say a massive I am so sorry for how long this video was prolonged for. Like, I literally recorded it straight after the last episode and then I just hadn't edited it. And I just put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And now it's back and I'm just gonna drop this little bit in because it's literally just going to jump straight into the recording. There's nothing sort of at the start of it because when I was recording it I didn't think of it, so bad thing on me. But you're not here for the intro, you're here for the content, so just get over it. Okay, enjoy.
Well, gamers, I am back, and I didn't have time to do my intro just then because I really wanted to get into this, so I will probably drop that in sometime at the start, but that doesn't matter. So anyway, I really wanted to get into it, so I haven't changed my clothes or anything. I just got straight out of my second one and back into the third, and you didn't really need to bother about knowing about that. But anyway, straight into this, and you can't understand any of the sentence that I've just said. Okay, we follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There have been countless computer screens, some of which are visibly coming back on from being shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the computer's operation center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. Where's the first aid kit? I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks as if he's forgotten about the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There, he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall, from what I assume is an emergency vault where he got the rifle from. Peer into the open vault. I know looking at the computer monitors would be good, but I peer over Marcus's shoulder to the vault where the vault he's opened. It's much larger than it looks from the outside. It's partially filled with the folders marked classified and a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, the peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slips open. For a split second it's open. I see a scanned document and a colour photo. The photo shows a male corpse with the guts on the outside of its body, as if it has been turned inside out. There's also a massive swelling on his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and then I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet-coloured fluid that, rather pretty in colour, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over here, he's paler than ever. Come on, I tell him. But he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit down over to him and go scrabbling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as the dried blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. Pull the shirt off gently. Might as well. Ow, I'm sorry. I lift the shirt off gently and it makes a sucking sound. There's so much blood that the moisture tries to keep the shirt pulled to him. Dennis lets out a little moan but seems to relax in spite of his injuries. With the shirt fully removed, the extent of his injuries becomes clearer. His wound is more visible now, although it's particularly hidden by the blood that has been... His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that has started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over to Marcus, hopeful, and ask, do you have any training? 0, he says. Sorry. It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be much help of anyway. I start by taking out the several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe away as much blood as I can from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure. but I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in the kit. When I splash some rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me and he appears appreciative, but he's also scared. Be honest, Dennis says hopefully. How bad does it look? You think I'll live? Well, I've been reassuring so far, and I'm not lying. He probably will be fine if we find more help. You chose to comfort Dennis. Good to know, he says, because I'm sure don't feel like that. You've been through hell, I say. I think it feels worse than it actually looks. Thanks, that's a relief. I won't lie. You're going to have a scar, I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humour in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eye, and as I finish up, I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with some medical tape, then I reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meagre, but it's all I can do. Thanks, Roger, he says, actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. I'm not so sure about that. I'm glad I was able to encourage him, though. Finally, I patch up the bruises on my head a bit, cursing myself again for not grabbing my hard hat. I look back to Marcus, and he's looking back at us deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have let him off so easy. Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility? I ask him. If there's something better I don't know about it, he says. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now, a slight change to his demeanour. He's seen something on those monitors that has him frightened, more than he already was before. What is it? I ask. What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room, and it's obvious he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. Get up, look at the monitors. He's going to hesitate too much, so just do it. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues that I had missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I can comprehend hidden in the complex information of most of the screens. On screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Another message is trickling along the bottom of a black screen. It says, "Safety locks on level 3, containment doors engaged, override." I see still scenes of a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were on just a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. And just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the bodies and legs have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. Well, I don't imagine he'll know the answer to what happened to the person there, so what's wrong with the systems? Maybe more of an answer. This place has backups for its backups, Marcus says. It's not ever supposed to suffer a full electrical shutdown. And what does foreign entity mean? I ask, hoping he has a sane answer. I have no idea. That keeps coming off. Whatever it is, it keeps entering and exiting to set off the sensors. What the hell, I ask? There's something still happening? We're still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he has already said too much. And as bad as it is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. And I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment I consider just tearing into him, a few punches and a shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now. And I'm not sure which would provide more answers, asking calmly or kicking his ass. Question him calmly. I know he's cranky, but it's not right. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on my crew. My anger is prodding at me and I have to hold it back again. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It was part of my job, mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground, less than a mile from a secret government facilities. I had no idea of that, I say. How could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber tract you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my crew, I find, is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? I ask. He shakes his head and exhales. It's like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird-eye view. I can't see faces. We just track bodies and names. Ask calmly. So since you have all the surveillance, you know where the rest of my crew is. I do my best to keep my voice level, even though my impulse is to shout. Well, Marcus says, all of you are at the site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked them though. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. He says this casually like it's not important. Well, are they inside the facility, I ask? You have cameras everywhere, right? Do you see them? Marcus shakes his head. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. They aren't here. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras, classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said. The depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. Ask calmly. Maintain the calmness. What do all these people do here, I ask, keeping my voice level. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. Honestly, I don't know anything. Probably very little. But what I do know is that it is more than black ops. What does that mean, I ask? There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't. Not at all. But I don't want him to know that. You said there are 36 employees. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure in Cringes. If this power failure is not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he is talking in riddles. I don't... Ah, God, Dennis says. I look over to him and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I look to the monitor and see the logging site, but more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and a leg sticking out from under it, wearing work boots, right where I left him. Tony. The fact is his death seems abstract, almost like it's happened in some other world for a very long time ago. I know that you already told me he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different. Actually seeing him. Oh my God. Suddenly something blazes in the open door outside, the shape of it's fast and in shadow. But I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, and I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor would be a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's someone who can help us. Be concerned. It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out and to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him and I head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back to Dennis, I run out into the second level hallway. So picking to tell Dennis about Tony's death, despite not believing his story about the glowing thing coming out of the ground, I believe is a good decision because that could have gone terribly wrong. Like, Dennis could have just had a complete meltdown just then, which wouldn't have been so good for the situation. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but there is also the slightest glimmer of hope, and that hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that has just run past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice that this lower level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are all on now. The hallways is adorned with numbered yellow doorways with large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see the fleeting motion of something dark cutting quickly to the left, down a corridor. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod and we continue chasing after the person we saw blaze by the command center just moments ago. It occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus at first, alarmed and scared. So moving towards them slowly could be bad and they could turn around and freak out and maybe shoot you with their gun or something like that, or just continue running. So shouting out at them to let them know that you're human. Hey, stop, who's there? I get no response and I'm unsure if I should be relieved or upset about this. The last person we nearly killed me with a rifle. Why would this person be any different? I quickly dart around the corner and take some shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there, about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small, mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender and she's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. And you're Marcus. She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. I'm not going to use it. There's no point scaring the girl. She's unarmed. Now how do I know that, she asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command center who needs medical attention, I say, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what happened, Marcus asks, from the power outage? I don't know what caused it, but there is an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened and she trails off here, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specific, Amy says. I barely escaped the third floor. I was going to go to the command center and see if the security footage showed anything. But then I saw you and the gun. Listening to their conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. What has you so scared? What experiments? What experiments? Amy looks at me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you anyway, she asks. I quickly give her my story, a logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of those loggers. Yes. She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This is a freak accident. There was no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all the questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. I know I need medical help for Dennis, but I really want to know some more details, but I don't know if they'll give them to me, but I'm going to go with more details. Why were we being watched, I ask. You are on a privately owned land less than half a mile away from a secret government facility, she answers. We had to make sure no one on your crew went wandering. How did you know we were cutting there, I asked. The people that work here know quite a lot, she says. If we needed to, we could know anything about your life within 10 minutes. This infuriates me to no end. That makes me feel violated in some odd way, but I have to push that aside for now. Right now, getting Dennis medical help and finding our crew is my top priority. Once he is taken care of, I maybe can get some answers. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not, I ask. Probably, Amy says, but you have to find Colin Barksdale's. I don't know, I can't say words, I'm so sorry. Barksdale. He knows where all of those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where is everyone else? I ask. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone has struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed, and some were just, I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. Disappeared? Yes, she answers. They were here 1 second and gone the next. Just... She snaps her fingers together for effect. Gone. Something's here with us, Amy says. We were conducting an experiment, and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what, Marcus says. I don't even know that much. Oh. An entity, but whatever it is still here somewhere, Amy responds. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access, I ask? No. I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So what do you suggest we do now, I ask? I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away. But if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? Down in the 3rd level in the hangar. Then let's go, I say. It's not that easy, Amy says, again looking at the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, something came through when the power went out. There's several of them, roaming the 3rd level. It's important to know what it is, rather than just going guns blazing, as they would say. All I know is that the others refer to them as entities, Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look, she says. All I did was run for my life. Behind me, I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors, it was crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus said. I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy says, but Barksdale's on the 3rd floor, and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decision. Me, in the meantime, started heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before we get there, I hear their footfalls behind me, getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down there together. Oh, this could be bad. This could be very, very bad. I can't help but yawn though. Okay, so we enter the command center, and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his color. We're going to get you some help, I tell him, and then we're going to find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you took an hour to get my shirt off earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. They don't really know what they can do, so asking are there any of them on this floor may be better. I'm not sure, she says, but they are down the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his agreement, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back out into the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screens that show my wrecked logging site, making me feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look to the other monitors, showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any signs of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us like a physical presence. I'm not too sure, sorry if that reading that was really disjointed. It was just because my head was trying to figure out why Dennis's character had just changed dramatically, or why I didn't interpret it that way. But anyway, we step inside the elevator and those pristine doors closed. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, and that I'm not going to put the rifle, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about here? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that it is something of a relief for her to get some of it off her chest. There's been a lot of work going on a project taking place over here for the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out whether there is real visible science behind point-to-point instantaneation, like teleporting, I asked. Oh my god, Marcus said. I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not all that insane, Amy says. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me, Dennis says? I can tell that he wants to sound as if he is mocking the idea, but he fails. He is scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and its intestines were on the outside of its body. Okay, what does this have to do with it now? Did you ever perfect it? Because perfecting something... Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to go into the science, like the thought behind that. Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made the same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When matter is being transported, it not only that its atoms are being unknit and then put back together upon arrival. Unknit, transported. Is there any difference between the two choices? Because to unknit, I know what that means, and then to transport, it's pretty obvious. But to unknit something's atoms is really cool. Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only thing that we know how to do. How to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed object on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why exactly, Dennis asks. Because there are more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There is some evidence that there is as many as 10. So when you send a rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, I ask. Basically. And because of that, we're trying to get a better understanding of those other dimensions that other dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew that what we were doing. Hence all the privacy. Then today, the power went out right in the middle of when we were doing an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. Have you seen what's in these other dimensions? The creatures? I'm more curious to find out the source rather than the effect so far. Other worlds, other trademark universes where our laws of nature don't apply, she says, not bothering to explain what that means. I'm not cleared for such thing, but I do get the reports. What reports? I'm given access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset. You guys have been peering into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I can't believe I wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet, her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all this. Personally, I find it insanely incredible. Because to be able to unknit an atom and then put it through another dimension to increase the rate of travel to a completely different place in our own dimension, and to use other dimensions to do that, it is such an impossible thing. Like, the idea that they've even come up for this game a theory of how that would even occur is amazing. So personally, me as a player and like as myself, me, Jax Foxfire, finds that whole concept of that incredible. So I'm gonna say that's incredible. You were impressed by Amy's work. So this is like an interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way, Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time, I've been working for... He laughs cruelly at the sound of it and makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. When the elevator door opens, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside the elevator, we step into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. Oh my god. Shit. The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeable than this is all the blood. My god. I have never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire, Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. The research you did down here better be worth it, I say. We have to get moving, or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale is in the hangar, I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Then let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, and I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence of level 3, and Amy's talk of the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. Okay, sometimes taking the lead is the best thing you can do, because you can use your fear as an instinct. The four of us start walking ahead, with me at the lead. We stop talking when we come to the remains of what looks like 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies there were because they had all been torn to shreds. and are distorted. Two of the bodies look as though they have been fused together. Another man looked to have had his leg welded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. It's probably not a good idea to investigate the bodies, but I'm really curious to see, like, when they say it's welded through the floor and stuff. I'm really interested. I see a face half pushed down into the floor like putty, barely attached to a separated skull, and a single dead eye stares at me. I think I might puke. Behind me, Marcus does just that. As I listen to him heaving, my eyes cannot leave the carnage. There is blood everywhere, a crimson pool flooding the floor. There are hunks of skin and tissue splattered on the wall, and a strand of unspooled intestine that clings to the floor like a dead snake. Dennis steps up behind me, and when he speaks, his voice is soft and flat. What in the hell could do that to someone, he asks. With things I saw, Amy answers. They could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think she might pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes, and she is visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to the rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is really trying to process it all. I really want to look around some more. So I'm going to look around some more. I'm probably going to kill everyone. I've never seen so much blood before. And what's making it even more sickening than the mayhem is the unnatural look of it. I'm familiar with blood splatter. I've hit a deer at 30 miles per hour, at 60 miles per hour on the interstate with the load of logs hooked behind me. But many of these bodies have somehow been gently pushed into the wall, through the floor, halfway inside a desk, dead. No explosive power, just squeezed and pressed like clay. Their faces contorted into screams, trying to comprehend what has happened to them. Still, I manage to steady my nerves. I take a few deep breaths and I'm finally able to continue onward. We leave the grisly sight behind, moving into another, equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the room was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't been destroyed, but physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The grinders look to have been warped, and their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond this phenomenon, there is the standard violence I was expecting to see. There is a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage, and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. Take sort of the brainage away from how the people died and just go and ask, did you see what happened to the grinders? Because reminding of her of the dead people is not going to help. I only caught a glimpse of it, she says. It was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. They just started twisting, but not creaking or breaking. It's like these creatures are able to deform matter. She pauses here, and that's when we hear something echo through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio. There's a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What in the hell is that, I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice a whisper. One of those creatures. That's what they sound like, Dennis asks. I see that he's leaning against the wall again, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. Anything between us and them. Discussing time is not important now. Sorry. God damn it, I need to do this quickly. Not really, she says. None of the hallways are blocked off by secure doors. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way down the office of wreckage, now with a new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway where another high-pitched noise makes out. This one louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. If they found a way to kill those things, they would have found a way to kill them and they would be dead. So how much further to the hangar is more appropriate? Close, she says. It's just at the end of this hallway. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then, huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like some new, violent gravity.
So guys, I want once again to apologize for how late this video is in coming out. I'd also like to apologize for sort of the awkward cut I have in this recording. Originally, when I was editing it, I was going to keep it as the one entire video, but the one entire recording and video would have gone for 1:19. So I'm cutting this video at 41 minutes, and then tomorrow morning, hopefully, I will have the other half edited and ready to upload. So while you guys have already watched this one, which I hope to have up before midnight tonight, the new one, or the other half of this one, should be getting uploaded by the time you finish this one. So, I'm really sorry for like how this is awkwardly cut and awkwardly edited. It's just a matter of I wanted to get something out, but I didn't have time. So, this is sort of my awkward fixing for it. I'd also like to acknowledge, you may have noticed at the very start of this video, I had an intro thing that was made for me by Soul Survivor, and I will leave a link to his channel in the description below. And he's one of my friends, and he did a really cool job at that. And hopefully I can put in the other half of it at the end of this. But I'll leave that link down in the description, and hopefully I'll get the other half of this video out tomorrow, and everything should be good. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like, hit subscribe, and even turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.